All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So what are we going to talk about right now? What are you going to talk about, Jesse? I don't know. Yes, I do. I'm going to talk about a hypothetical situation and what will happen in the event that Jorge Masvidal beats Kamaru Usman. Now, bottom line, that is incredibly unlikely in my opinion, and I think it's incredibly unlikely in everyone's opinion, which is why my hypothesis is going to be so bulletproof accurate, okay? Now, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends. I'm getting comments. They're like, why doesn't this guy have 1 million subscribers? It just doesn't happen overnight. I haven't even been doing this for a year, but I appreciate those kind words. Anyway, comment, like the video, etc. All right, so here's the deal. So I think that Jorge Masvidal might be the biggest underdog going into this championship fight that I've ever seen for a non-replacement fighter, okay? I'm not talking about the odds, okay? I realize Holly Holm was a bigger underdog against Ronda Rousey. I realize Rose Namajunas was a bigger underdog against Joanna. I bet on Rose in that fight, in the first one, by the way. I realize all that. But I'm just talking about in terms of people's, outlook on the fight, right? Maybe I don't think a lot of people gave Rose much of a chance against Joanna. I just had an insane gut feeling about that one, but it's neither here nor there. I actually think less people are giving Jorge even a shot because we just saw this fight and there wasn't anything in that fight that indicated okay, well, if this, then George would win, right? He didn't really ever hurt him. He landed some punches, but he never rattled him. Most of it, but here's the deal. All I'm saying is that because no one is giving Jorge a chance, if he wins, dude, especially if he wins in spectacular fashion, do you understand how big of a superstar he'll be? Can you even wrap your brain around how big of a superstar Jorge Masvidal will be if he wins this fight tomorrow night? If you think about, Jorge's rise to prominence, where he is now, and you really think about it, it's all a series of, things that weren't supposed to happen. The Nate Diaz fight, that's not necessarily, I think a lot of people picked him to win that fight. But the Darren Till fight, he was getting fed as a bait dog to Darren Till. You guys understand that? That was a fight set up for him to lose, right? He was hand-picked for Darren Till because Darren Till was a star and he had just lost to Tyron Woodley and they wanted to get him back on the horse. And you had Masvidal coming off 3 split decision losses and he took a year and a half off. And they're like, here, Masvidal's got a big name. Let's, they can headline in wherever, Liverpool. They were feeding him to Darren Till and he knocked him out cold, right? In Liverpool. Then he pieces up Leon Edwards backstage and all of a sudden it's damn, don't mess with Street Jesus with the 3-piece and the soda, boom. And now, whoa, he's got some hype, man. He's got some hype. So they're like, all right, dude, he's got a little bit of hype. We just traded to get this Ben Askren guy. He's making a lot of noise. Everybody's got eyes on him. Let's give him Masvidal. Let's give him Masvidal. He just beat Robbie Lawler, so let's give him Masvidal. Masvidal's got a little bit of hype on him, but you got to understand, the UFC does not see Masvidal as a even possible superstar. That's not possible to them because he is a known asset. He's been in the UFC for so long and he never built any hype. He's exactly like Nate Diaz was prior to fighting Conor McGregor. He was a small market guy. Then he gets a little bit of hype after Darren Till beats up Leon Edwards. He's got a little bit of hype. And then he has the most spectacular flying knee knockout in the history of the UFC against what was a huge up-and-coming potential challenger, undefeated fighter. And boom, Masvidal has arrived. Then they take Nate Diaz, like we just said, we put them together, and then they fight. But the point I'm making is no one, he was getting set up to lose those first 2 fights, okay? Now, Usman is a different animal, okay? It doesn't matter, set up to lose, not set up to lose, irrelevant. Usman is the best fighter at 170 pounds, certainly since GSP, and maybe, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Do you guys like GSP in his prime against Usman? It's hard to say. They look pretty similar to me, actually. GSP has a spinning back kick and stuff, but as far as, great long straight punches, great wrestling, they look pretty similar, right? But yeah, he's going to be a tough beat. But I'm saying if Masvidal beats Usman, it will be like you took a guy who was already top 3 biggest stars in the UFC and then shot him out of a cannon into the stratosphere, And at that point, again, I'm just going to say this. I said this in my live the other day, but I'm just going to say it again. If you think Kamaru Usman's going to get an immediate rematch, you're out of your mind. And I'll tell you exactly why. It's business, son. It's business. Okay? If Masvidal wins, unless it's a close split decision, if Masvidal by some miracle finishes Usman, if you think Usman's gonna get in the immediate rematch, you're crazy. They will, and if he wins, okay, if he wins and Nate Diaz wins, they'll do that for the title, or they'll do him versus Colby for the title, or if Conor wins in spectacular fashion against Dustin, they might do that for the title, okay? But you have 3 options there, right? I mean, things have to kind of play out right, but those are 3 blockbuster, once of the biggest event of the year fights, okay? If they do Kamaru-Usman rematch, that does a few 100,000 less pay-per-views, and that is the only metric or incentive that matters to the UFC. So keep that in mind. If Masvidal wins and he wins by finish, I will bet you that Usman does not get an immediate rematch. He'll get a rematch, but he's going to have to wait one fight. He's going to have to wait, and he's going to have to wait before like Colby or, you know, or Conor or Diaz fights him. Unless, you know, Colby won't sign or those guys both lose or whatever. But they're going to look to make a super fight with Masvidal while he has the belt. Again, I'm not saying that Masvidal's going to win, just for the record. I'm not saying he's going to win. I will like when Masvidal knocked out Askren, I literally threw my phone across the room and jumped out of my skin, right? Something like that would probably happen in the event that he wins. I'm not going to be going live tomorrow night, unfortunately. I'm having a big shindig. My friend Mike McDaniel, one of my best friends, who's the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, he's coming over with his baby and his wife. And then my brother's coming over, who's a huge 49er fan, who's just going to fan out on him the whole time and embarrass himself. And then my buddy Aaron, one of my best friends, and his wife and kids are coming over. So maybe I'll go live like just for a minute just to say hi to everybody. But I'm not going to be doing like a full commentary deal. But yeah, so that's what I've got. So subscribe to the channel. Ring the motherfucking bell, son. Oh, let me just say this, by the way. If you've made it this far, you're one of my real peeps. I am working on a new project that I would love to be able to tell you guys about. It's the most excited I've ever been about a project ever. In my entire life, of all the things I've worked on, I've never been more bullish on anything than what I'm working on right now. But I can't talk about it yet. But not because it's not materializing, because it is materializing into one of the most exciting projects ever that is probably going to be the thing that I work on exclusively. I mean, I'll always do this, but like, yeah, we'll see. So anyway, I wish I could tell you more, but I can't. If you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends. Peace.